So on the signal side, what's the vision? This long term, what do you see that becoming?
So we want to manage all the money in the world. That's Numerai's mission. And to get that, we need to have all the data and have all of the talent. Like there's no way, so first principles, if you had really good modeling and really good data, that you would lose, right? It's just a question of how much do you need to get really good. So Numerai already has some really nice data that we give out. This year, we are 10xing that. And I actually think we'll 10x the amount of data we have on Numerai every year for at least the next 10 years.
Wow.
So it's going to get very big, the data we give out. And signals is more data. People with any other random data set can turn that into a signal and give it to us.
And in some sense, that kind of data is the edge cases, the weirdness is so you're focused on like the bulk, like the main data, and then there's just like weirdness from all over the place that just can enter through this back door of
Exactly. And it's also a little bit shorter term. So the signals are about a 7-day time horizon, and on Numerai, it's like a 30-day. So it's often for faster situations.
You've written about a master plan, and you've mentioned, which I love, in a similar sort of style of big style thinking, you would like Numerai to manage all of the world's money. So how do we get there from yesterday to several years from now? Like what is the plan? So you've already started to allude to it. It's like get all the data and get it, all the talent, humans, models.
Exactly. I mean, the important thing to note there is what would that mean, right? And I think the biggest thing it means is like if there was one hedge fund, you would have not so much talent wasted on all the other hedge funds. Like it's super weird how the industry works. It's like one hedge fund gets a data source and hires a PhD, and another hedge fund has to buy the same data source and hire a PhD. And suddenly a third of American PhDs are working at hedge funds, and we're not even on Mars. And like, so in some ways, Numerai, it's all about freeing up people who work at hedge funds to go work for Elon.
And also the people who are working on Numerai problem, it feels like a lot of the knowledge there is also transferable to other domains.
Exactly. One of our top users is he works at NASA Jet Propulsion Lab.
Yeah.
And he's like amazing. I went to go visit him there. And it's like he's got like Numerai posters, and he's like it's like it looks like, you know, the movies, like it looks like Apollo 11 or whatever. Yeah, the point is he didn't quit his job to join full time. He's working on getting us to Jupiter's moon. That's his mission, the Europa Clipper mission.
Actually, literally what you're saying.
Literally. He's smart enough that we really want his intelligence to reach the stock market, because the stock market's a good thing, hedge funds are a good thing, our kinds of hedge funds especially. But we don't want him to quit his job, so he can just do Numerai on the weekends, and that's what he does. He just made a model, and it just automatically submits to us, and he's like one of our best users.
You mentioned briefly that stock markets are good. From my sort of outsider perspective, is there a sense, do you think trading stocks is closer to gambling, or is it closer to investing? Sometimes it feels like it's gambling as opposed to betting on companies to succeed. And this is maybe connected to our discussion of shorting in general, but like from your sense, the way you think about it, is it fundamentally still investing?
I do think, I mean, it's a good question. I've also seen lately, like people say, this is like speculation. Is there too much speculation in the market? And it's like, but all the trades are speculative. Like all the trades have a horizon. Like people want them to work. So I would say that, and there's certainly a lot of aspects of gambling math that applies to investing.
Right.
Like one thing you don't do in gambling is put all your money in one bet. You have bankroll management, and it's a key part of it. And small alterations to your bankroll management might be better than improvements to your skill. So then there are things we care about in our fund, like we want to make a lot of independent bets. We talk about it like we want to make a lot of independent bets because that's going to be a higher Sharpe than if you have a lot of bets that depend on each other, like all in one sector. But yeah, I mean, the point is that you want the prices of the stocks to be reflective of their value,
of the underlying value.
Yeah, like
company
you shouldn't have there be like a hedge fund that's able to say, well, I've looked at some data and all of this stuff's super mispriced. Like that's super bad for society if it looks like that to someone.
I guess the underlying question then is, do you see that the market often like drifts away from the underlying value of companies and it becomes a game in itself? Like with these, whatever they're called, like derivatives, like the option, like, you know, options and shorting and all that kind of stuff. It's like layers of game on top of the actual, like what you said, which is like the basic thing that Wall Street Bets was doing, which is like just buying stocks.
Yeah, there are a lot of games that people play that are in the derivatives market, and I think a lot of the stuff people dislike when they look at the history of what's happened, they hate like credit default swaps or collateralized debt obligations. Like these are the kind of like enemies of 2008. And then the long-term capital management thing, it was like they had 30 times leverage or something, just that no one, like you could just go to a gas station and ask anybody at the gas station, is it a good idea to have 30 times leverage? And they just say no. It's like common sense just like went out the window. So I don't respect long-term capital management. Okay, but Nimrine doesn't actually use any derivatives unless you call shorting derivative. We do put money into companies. That does help the companies we're investing in. It's just in little ways. We really did buy Tesla, and it did, and we were not we played some role in its success. Super small, make no mistake, but still, I think that's important.